What is your crowdfunding project?
So the idea is to come and develop sustainable villages, and one of the key components of developing a sustainable village is access to renewable energy. And most of the population in the rural areas in Nepal are dependent on fuel wood for cooking as their source of energy. So biogas provides them the other alternative.
Explain to people at home what you mean when you say a biogas plant.
A biogas plant is basically an individual unit,
Mm-hmm.
and the individual unit is like it's for a household. So it's basically an underground construction,
Mm-hmm.
and dung is fed into the underground pit. So once you feed the dung inside the pit, there's no oxygen inside the pit, so the bacteria starts growing, and then the gas starts forming out of the dung and other organic materials that you can put also in the pit. It's basically the temperature and the lack of oxygen gives rise to this methane gas, which is then taken to the kitchen, and then what happens is the gas starts forming, and then you can just flame this gas and use it as a liquid petroleum gas. But it's basically methane gas that you're flaring and using it for cooking.
Do you remember the very first time you walked into a village with one of these biogas plants? What was the reaction? Were people happy? Were they suspicious? Did they think it was going to work?
People did have that level of hesitance, because culturally also, I mean, we are using poo, for developing gas.
Yeah, it seems
And
kind of weird to use poo to cook, right?
rice, yeah. So they had that level of reluctance to really go for the biogas plant as one,
Mm-hmm.
because in Nepal also the tradition is when you get up in the morning, you have to offer some food to the gods. So when you're trying to cook something with that's generating from poo, it gives that level of cultural reluctance. Like
Right.
how can I really cook something on that's being generated through poo and then feed the gods? Just put an offering to the gods. So many people, not only that, many people also didn't like the idea of attaching a toilet to the biogas plant. But now that level of reluctance, which earlier existed, is getting more and more null and void.
What was that reaction
Yes,
the first time they lit that flame?
it was a smokeless environment. There was no more smoke, and it was so clean. The house looked very clean.
And did she giggle?
I mean, she was smiling all the way. I remember
Yeah.
that moment. She was just smiling.
Why is it important to stop using fuel wood?
Children and women are the most affected by the smoke in terms of health hazards. They have a lot of impacts on their eyes as well as breathing and all that stuff. Once you are dependent on a fuel wood, it's again the women who have to go to the forest to collect the fuel wood. It means they don't get enough time to spend with the family, so the children are left alone in the household. And the third thing is that these areas are habitats of flagship species like the tigers, elephants, and the rhinos. And definitely these areas also have a lot of poisonous snakes also. So when these people have to go to the forest to collect fuel wood, there's a lot of chances of human and wildlife conflict. We are attaching a toilet, so it has this sanitation benefit also. So people don't have to go for open defecation. So we can have a closed environment, and then it keeps the village more cleaner also. And we want to reach the target of 20,000 biogas plants, given the national demand for biogas plants is around 2 million. And
Wow.
with the
2
government
million?
project,
They need
yeah,
2 million? That's a lot of plants. You have a long way to
yeah.
go, right?
Yeah, and so far the amount of biogas plants constructed in Nepal is around 250,000. So we are just around 10% of the target.
But you're getting there. You're getting there.
Nepal is one of the least developed countries, and with the amount of funding that is required for a biogas plant, it's a little bit not possible for local communities to really invest on themselves. So that's why we are outreaching for more and more biogas units across villages.
Some people might shy away from this project because they're like, ooh, it's poop. I mean, what do you have to say about, like, there are people who think it's kind of a disgusting, nasty thing to think about?
Just look at your body, your mouth and the backside. How far is it? And this tank, it's like several meters away from your house. So it doesn't make any difference. It's just the gas that's coming out. So it's very healthy and it's very hygienic, and it really makes a difference to people's lives.